Hi, Shambhavi.
Hi, Lubna. How are you?
I'm good. It's ice cold here,
I-
freezing, -degree. Woke up to icy, layered everywhere.
Oh,
Yeah, so warm cup of tea today is the best hug. How
yeah.
about you? How is it in the Netherlands?
I think it's very windy and it's been very foggy, so there's no sun again. So that's a little like that. I mean, of course, you know about it. So that's a little hard to kind of like deal with. So, and rain. So it's so
Yeah,
cup of tea too, because it
yeah. I think
you
this
can
is the
feel it.
best.
Mine
This
is.
is the best right now. Let's take a sip. Ah, it really is just a hug in a mug.
Yeah. Oh, that's a nice one. Hug in a mug. Yeah.
It's great to catch up and also to just speak about our profession and what we're doing. It's a new journey, and to show up and just showcase our work and ourselves. So I think it's brilliant to do in this way.
Absolutely. I
And
think when we kind of like were talking about these ideas 2 weeks ago, I realized that we probably have the same kind of ideas, and I thought, why not do it together? Able to do
yeah,
this, so
I
recording.
know it was very, very quick, but I
Yeah,
think we just have to jump on the train when the doors open, right?
absolutely. Yeah,
Opportunity is there, just jump on, don't think too much. As soon as we start being logic about things, I
yeah.
have definitely
And
seen that I fall off.
yeah, and me too. I mean, it's just that you sit on the idea for a long time and then it's gone. It's
Yeah. And
so
it's so daunting, to be on camera. So anytime you see an escape door, for
yeah.
me, I rather want to take the escape door,
That's true. And since I just graduated and you graduated probably at the same time last year,
Yeah, that's true
it's a
actually.
good 1 year of experience that you have in the beginning. So it's a nice mix of having how the journey went on to learn, put on and where the entrepreneurship
Yeah, no, for
tag and you
sure.
doing everything
For
through.
sure. But then again, certification and when I got certified or when you are getting certified has nothing to do with our experiences, our skill sets, our techniques. It doesn't make me expert in something. You just got certified, so you actually have more expertise in this because probably I must have forgotten certain tools in certain ways because you incline into something, one or two things that really, really resonate with you.
Yeah, and then you stick
Yeah,
to it. That's true. I mean, even for
yeah,
me, I kind of like probably did a few things repeatedly because that's something that I really connected to. So,
yeah. You feel
that's true. It's
comfortable.
not about the experience bit of it, but also just taking the journey together,
Yeah,
right? Because
exactly. So it's been a really great journey.
it has been, yeah.
And I just feel that we came a long way from being someone who like totally inside
Yeah,
the egg and
inside it,
just to poke it out and just especially
true.
this is a milestone to come
It
on
is.
video like this.
Absolutely.
I still can't really believe. I think it's the icy weather.
And since it's like the Valentine's week, also a
Yes,
great hug to us to have embraced it to be
embracing.
on
Yes,
camera, doing
absolutely.
things, being on spotlight. So yeah,
Absolutely. I definitely feel, our own experiences really, our personal experiences really create the path.
yeah,
So, for example, I definitely feel that my personal journey has shaped me and my growth and, really made me break free from my cultural expectation,
yeah,
navigating interfaith marriage, which is a huge thing,
of course,
and embracing self-love.
of course.
Self-love definitely something. It has been a journey. It
Hmm.
has always been there in some way or another, but really truly to understand the core of self-love,
Hmm.
that I feel I'm getting there now. I
Yeah,
can never say that it's there fully,
y- yeah.
but I'm getting there and I'm understanding the essence of it.
Hmm.
And I really feel like professionally, it's been about integrating those emotional awareness, mindset shift, and practical techniques. especially like NLP and, healing, figuring out the root cause of everything is just mind-boggling.
Yeah.
And most importantly, it's just been very uh, powerful, and it's also being the power for
Yeah.
self-connection for me,
Mm.
and helping others to transform their relationships. That's where I really feel it's empowering.
Yeah.
um, you know um, yeah, I feel that's my biggest lesson. Growth isn't about fixing ourselves,
Yeah.
but about understanding and aligning with who we truly are, and accepting it and acknowledging it, not just
True. Yeah.
good
I
part but
always
also the
say.
negative, right?
Yeah, so I always say that, first is awareness, then comes probably a sense of acknowledgement, and then comes acceptance. Because for the awareness does half the job, and then, you're in
Yeah.
space of acknowledging and accepting in any aspect of life, whether it's self-love or interpersonal relationships, or even in terms of career, as a business person, as a businesswoman, or as a practitioner. All of that comes into, oh, these three categories of just doing what we have to do, right? And personal experience, of course, is a big part of what we do, because somewhere, what we have is also something we want to like share and do it out of in our hearts as acts of service. Sorry. And yeah, the weather does a lot of things for my kitchen too.
No,
So
absolutely. And I do also, like,
yeah,
for me as well, but also for you, living in a different country away from our
yeah,
own
being
home
an expat has
countries.
been
Yeah, and just
yeah.
traveling and relocating. I know you have done that too, where you relocated from your place to Sweden, and then Sweden to Netherlands. I relocated from Denmark or England to Denmark, and then Denmark to Dubai, and now we're in Sweden. So
Wow, yeah.
it's like a, it's like,
Journey.
yeah,
Yeah.
you
And then
collect so many
being,
things.
yeah, and being in these countries, and they're trying to integrate the kind of culture that they're part of,
Yeah.
also kind of like helps us to grow. Because being and traveling as well, right? Like I've been a big I've not done a lot of traveling this year or last year, but then that has also helped me to kind of like see who I am, because it's different in each country. There's always something that can be there, and like, okay. So yeah, yeah, that's true.
No, absolutely. That does shape us for
Yeah.
sure. And also, how to integrate your own self, because your
Mm.
being is changing every time you're going to these places, because you're
Yeah.
integrating into their culture, and you have to still keep yours. So you want to make sure, okay, how do we balance this?
True.
And I feel for myself, it has been not that big of a challenge, but
Mm.
being as a parent, I
Mm.
feel that has been a bigger challenge for me, to make sure the kids doesn't, get into a black hole where
Yeah.
either they choose one side
Mm.
or they just become totally rebels and say, we don't want anything, you know?
Yeah.
Or they lose on their academics. That there's so many things. So I feel that has been a big challenge for me. Touch wood, it has been great.
Mm.
And I've been able to, get them through that as well.
Yeah.
Again, acknowledging emotions and, doing all this. But it is a big journey, and it is a big challenge when you're doing traveling, when you're doing relocation and becoming an expat in a country that feels yours, and then again it's not.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a huge thing. I mean, I have been traveling and I've been relocating so much, and I do not feel I belong still in one place, so
Yeah. Yeah.
what about you? How
I
do you
think
feel
it's
about
the
that?
I think for me, I resonated in terms of when I moved because I hadn't I was living with my husband. So for us to like start living together, I think Sweden has a very special place. And I also got married there in the Hindu
Ah.
Hindu wedding. So for me, that really holds a very, very special place. So leaving Sweden was pretty hard because we had our friends there and we were, a nice group and we would meet every week and all of that. So from there to coming here, and we had to move like 3 times here because Holland has a lot of house scarcity. It was a journey, and then I was doing this course, and I'm away for like 5, 6 hours, and then I would finish, go, and then look for houses. So it was really like I for me, the biggest learning was I would criticize that I couldn't do a lot, or I'm not doing enough. And then when I saw it, I'm like, how did I manage? Because every time I had to look for a place, it was almost 2 hours one side and a train journey. And it was and that's what like I'm like, okay, I did so many things along with doing my courses, along with, shifting houses and painting the house and everything, because again, it's all DIY here. Or getting somebody is really difficult. So it was really like a nice experience, and it was more like a mirror for me to see that you are someone who's doing enough, and all you need to do is start having that awareness and acknowledging it, and accept that you're doing the best with
No,
what you do.
absolute,
So
absolute. And I really acknowledge you of, realizing that. And
yeah,
definitely first give yourself a pat to be proud of yourself, that you acknowledged it and you saw it. So
yeah,
you broke free from, that I'm not doing enough,
mm,
which was not even yours, it was just coming
yeah,
from society. And we're so aware of those, getting those in from everywhere, that we are never enough, we don't do enough. And then to realize it and break free from it is a huge thing.
it
um,
is.
yeah,
Yeah,
so that's
yeah,
what we sit
yeah,
with it simply, and our reality actually gets created
true.
with
Yeah,
that,
yeah. Yeah.
so
Yeah, thank you for saying that because I never looked at it in that sense. But so now I do have a new perspective. So thank you so much for that. And
no,
yeah, because even for you, moving from 3 or 4 countries, and those were also different from different places, right?
very
India is
different.
different, Dubai is different, Sweden is different, completely
Yeah,
different.
very different, very different,
Yeah.
especially when you come from Dubai. And I
Yeah.
was in Dubai for 16 years. I got
Wow. Yeah.
married there. That's where I met my husband. I got married there. I had my kids there. So,
Wow.
everything was there. And coming here, I think the best place I chose to come back to was Sweden, because I can definitely relate a lot of the culture, the way people are, and the way the country is
Hmm.
of course not really like Dubai. Dubai is like very glamour, and there's so many other loud way of being. However, I find it's very safe here. I find
Hmm.
it's very
That's so
cozy. It's
great.
very family oriented. Everything is about kids, and of course, if it's kids, then it's family. But it's very safe and it's very cozy.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
of course, you have crime and everything, because I'm sure whoever will be listen, they will go like, "Oh my God, but Sweden has this and this." Yeah, but so does Dubai, so does Denmark, so does UK and Netherlands. Every country has their own cons and pros,
Of
But the
course.
cons are just met with those satisfaction and that
Yeah.
peace that I had in Dubai. And so I'm extremely happy being here. And
Mm.
plus, the other thing that I had to get used to is Sweden. People are not so open, so
Yeah.
so that was something I had to get used to. Like it took me months and months to say hello to my neighbor. 'Cause
Mm.
as soon as I saw them from the window, I would open my window and, and they'd go like,
Yeah.
okay. But it
Yeah.
took time, but it got there. And I also realized sometimes we are quick to judge.
Mm.
They're also not aware how do we approach, how do we speak, and
That's
yeah,
true. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes we can take a step as well forward and show them our personality. And now in my building, the mayor in our community is like, everybody in your building. I said, yeah, I went and said hello to everyone. So I do know them. I know who's living where and I meet them and say hello. So I realized and I jumped over that judgment. Oh my God, they don't want to talk. They don't say
Mm,
hello.
yeah.
Why are they so weird? They're just looking at me. But I realized they might be thinking the same thing.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's very, and I think you told me this was when I was trying to move from one place to the other, and I'm like, oh my God. And there I didn't, like, the neighbors didn't really talk a lot, but here I'll have to. So you said, take the first step. It's okay. And I think I did that, and that was really helpful. I think I went and I actually knocked and I said, we're here, and blah, blah, blah. And please come in, and whatever it is. So everybody knows that there is one family here and like
There's a Shambhavi here as well.
two people whose names we cannot pronounce probably, but yes.
No, yeah, I don't even remember I said that, but I remember there was some kind of talk
Yeah,
about that.
yeah.
Thank you for that. That's nice to know that actually I got you to do that.
Yeah,
Um,
because that kind of like also goes back to us talking about how showing our personalities and integrating with the culture,
yes,
along with that, looking
absolutely.
at interpersonal relationships and being present when we
Yeah,
need to. I think that also comes in with the kind of training or our experiences that we've had so far.
definitely. I'm a true believer that your journey
Yeah,
gives you the skills and techniques and actually mold you to understand and become more and more and more and more aware
yeah,
and to accept everything about you because
yeah.
that's what we actually are suppressing
Mm,
and taking all these courses or education, I definitely feel yes, you get more integrated into, you get a structure, you find out how to use different techniques properly and
yeah,
how to integrate it into a certain certain how do you call it, like a place or in yeah, where before you might have known it but you didn't know what it's called,
yeah.
you didn't
Like the
have
awareness. Yeah.
yeah, you didn't have awareness. Oh, I already knew about this, but this is called this and I can use it like that.
Yeah.
So
Like
yeah,
direction towards what it is, and then you make your own. Like that's
exactly.
always part of it.
Absolutely. So, because I definitely think there's a lot of people who do things, but then they choose a different path all of a sudden. And that's because, that's aligning with their experience, their journey, and
Mm.
they're able to truthfully come out and be that person and
Yeah.
give from the heart. And I definitely think that that is very important, that whether we are doing therapy, we are doing coaching, or we're doing healing, whichever it is, that it comes from the heart.
It does. Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's when you really are touching the other person, but also you're really making sure that that transformation happens rather
Yeah.
than it's very generic.
Mhm.
So I think and I definitely know that that's the case with you, that things has to come from your heart, it has to resonate, and it has to be something that you feel that it's an experience that you can work with,
Yeah.
um and
That,
put your skills into it. Exactly, yeah. I
yeah.
I would really like to know, Shambhavi, like what's your like what's your vision, with everything, like with your profession?
With my profession, I think currently, my vision is to look at, uh, providing support, providing like programs or packages in terms of that's more technical, but it's to kind of like actually look into self-worth, and look into having people to recognize that no matter what, we are there for us, and that's one journey that we need to write. And something that I did put up is, be your own love story, because that's one thing that can really help us to kind of like come out of the shell. And I really commend you to kind of like see that whole journey, and I've seen you, and I've seen in that entire space, and we've done even master classes that I've done with you, which I've attended, that I've seen you like actually like this blossom out there and be this person, and recognizing that, this is what I want to do. And that self-love really shows when we
Oh,
do
thank
what we
you.
want to do, right? So that's what I want to like impart with everybody as well, to see that, once we start focusing the love towards ourselves and others, it starts to like also settle down in terms of having interpersonal relationships or anything, or career, business, anything that they want to do, right? So that's where I am. Then what would be yours? It's really nice to, bring it to,
Yeah.
like I was like put in the spot, like what was my vision?
No, definitely. I mean, I think it's amazing, and it's so having people to understand, that the love lives within themselves.
Yeah.
It's a huge thing, and it's the most beautiful thing. So, I think that's a great vision.
Mm.
And it's yours because you have it already, you have found it. And
Yeah.
therefore you are able to say, hey, my world is beautiful. I want you to have that
You do have
beautiful
it.
world as
Yeah, I
well.
could do it. Yeah.
Yeah. So my vision, similar to yours, I want to create a world where people experience emotional freedom and deep, fulfilling relationships.
That.
Um, I want to help parents raise emotionally aware children.
Mm.
I think that's very important nowadays.
Yeah.
Especially, I also feel if we are able to raise emotionally aware children, we will deal with lesser adults who are having emotional issues, or who's having mental health problems,
Yeah.
because they already know how to regulate, they already know how to be aware of it. So that is something I really want. And I want to my vision is, partners build relationship rooted in love and respect, but also understands what is love and
Mm.
what is respect.
Yeah.
Um, Through all the clients I've had, I've really noticed that everybody has their own perspective of what love is and what respect is, and that's what they're bringing in to their partner or with their partner. So
Mm.
that is something I really want to go into, and yeah, and individuals, just breaking free from limiting belief through uh, my programs that I offer, whether it's group programs or it's one-on-one programs, the content and community.
Yeah.
The goal is just to empower people to live in alignment with their own values,
Yeah.
without the weight of cultural conditioning,
Mm.
fear, or societal, expectation. I
Yeah.
just
Oh, yeah.
It's a burden that you live with since you are born and you don't even know it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just want to let people know, there's a world where you can be free in, and that world exists within you, and you need to bring that out, and you will get wings.
That's true. Yeah. Oh, that gave
Yeah.
me goosebumps. And
So yeah, so that is my vision.
that's
Slowly,
a
slowly
great,
hoping to
great
get
vision
there.
to have in terms of raising emotionally aware children, because that's also to kind of like see how the future generations don't have to carry uh, the
Absolute,
trauma.
absolute. If we look into the statistic, it
That's true.
the adults right now, it just growing. The
Yeah.
mental health issues, the problems, emotional issues, they are just growing and growing and growing. And imagine a world where kids already know
Yeah.
how to be emotionally aware,
Yeah.
or how do you call it, emotionally intelligence, so
Yeah.
how to do that, what can they do, what tools can they use? And imagine one child being sad and another child coming over, rather than laughing and saying, hey, why are you crying, but coming over and actually asking the right questions and get to the root cause right there and then.
That's true. I mean, that would really help as well because something that, at least for me, I did not have that. I have great friends now. We've grown together
Yeah,
in school, and now we are together. Now we are more emotionally aware of things, but probably back then we were not. I was definitely not.
I know.
I would say bad, or I would say, oh, if you cry, I'll also cry.
Yeah,
Than to kind of like, okay, let's see what would you like or what do you need right now? A shoulder to her to cry, or you want to talk about it. That was never
yeah,
part of it. So I really like, that's very true to bring in that space of, safe space, right?
yeah.
Then they
And
start creating it in a bunch.
exactly. And then they can create however they want to, what is comfortable for them. Because what is always back in my head is always when boys are crying, the first thing we always tell them, why are you crying? Boys don't cry. And those boys, when they grow up, they become men who are
Yeah.
not emotionally, how, what is that called? Emotionally not aware, but they are not present. They're not emotionally present for you. So that's where, the clashes happen. They shut down when you need them emotionally because that's what they learned. So they don't like, I have experienced it myself years back with my own husband that if I'm crying and I'm upset about something, which could be whatever XYZ, and I'm just crying, and he comes home and he see me crying, and he go like, "It will be fine." He's like distant. It will be fine. Don't cry. I'll make you this food. You like this food. So, and I could sense it already there. He's uncomfortable me crying. It's nothing to do with me, nothing to do with what happened. He's
Mm.
just uncomfortable. Okay, let's not talk about this. It's okay. Let me cheer you up. And of course, now it's different. We've been together for 17 years, so it's a different case now. But that's what I realized how important it is to let our boys also understand that these emotions are emotions. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just a part of us telling us something is not right. Just acknowledge it.
Yeah,
And it's not
yeah.
there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you brought in a great point to see that men kind of like become emotionally not very present when there is an emotion
Yeah.
which is going on, especially if it's crying or sadness or anything, because then they're like, okay, I don't know what I can say or I don't know what I could do. Because I remember having a conversation about this with a client, and I said, having emotions is very is natural, is biological, because we start expressing it from the time we are 6 months old, which we study as part of our psychology. So, oh, it's very natural and it's okay. So then it was more like, okay, it's natural and it's biological. So going down to that, saying it's happening to you, it's not that something you can control. Like that's what it
Yeah.
is.
And
Right?
it's very sad.
Yeah,
I think should be taught in school.
cool. I know. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
rather than, of course, all subjects are important, but this should be there so they understand their own being.
Yeah.
And, and I really feel a lot of things get into it. Some culture and religion are open about these kind of things, and some culture are very secluded about it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's very sad to have these kind of things. And I really feel that this is, of course, a parent's duty to understand because
Yeah.
once they know it, they can give it forward and they can showcase it in their home because that's where the kids learn.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, demoing that from whenever they want to start with. I mean, it doesn't have to be like the kids have to be younger or anything.
No, not
Any
at all.
point,
Any
yeah,
time.
any
Any
point in time, it really helps them also to kind of like see, and the transformation is amazing. After,
Absolutely. You can
yeah,
see it in your kids right away. Of course, they'll be surprised. What just happened here? But when you transform yourself, you know,
then it is.
everything around you start having that
Yeah,
transformation because you're creating it for yourself.
of course. Yeah.
So it is very important that you start with yourself. Like we always say, we want to make a world a better place, but you can't do that, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to make your own self a better person, and
Yeah.
then everything around you will start becoming a better place, and everybody can do that. And imagine that everybody is doing their own circle. So
That's true.
yeah,
Yeah.
so we are very good in
Mm.
you know.
Yeah, like blaming or pushing it or putting it on the other person. That's true. Or the circumstance that comes. And I think
Absolutely.
I held on to that card for a very, very long time, saying, oh, this is happening, so I can't do it, or that's happening, I can't do it. And I kept attracting those situations. I took
Sure.
responsibility and I said, no, I mean, this cannot be the case and I need to change. And then I saw that, things started changing for me.
And
And
kudos to you for doing that.
yeah. No, but of course, I had the resources and, of course, having support.
Yeah.
And I've reached out to you so many times, and that's what helps. That's what helps. And it's really
Yeah.
amazing to kind of like get back and sit and see what our journey has been, and have to, like, have this kind of talk as coaches and EFT practitioners
Yeah, like
going.
sometimes we forget,
Yeah,
you
and
know.
it's important to kind of like go back and kind of like see that, this is where it is.
Yeah, and what have you achieved? And some
Yeah,
we are very good in forgetting that because we get so much into the rush and into, the running and chasing,
yeah,
and that we keep forgetting. But that is so important because when you remember those things,
yeah,
then it's so much easier to move forward.
yeah. The next
Um,
steps becomes more and more
I've
easy.
been
That's true.
chasing for such a long time, and I think last year I had like my breakthrough where I was like, really, okay, what just happened?
Yeah,
What just happened? Why am I chasing? Oh,
yeah,
where's the fire going on?
yeah.
And I really took the breath and time to do journaling,
Mm,
and I started doing that, and it just calmed me down.
true. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, yeah,
Journaling is very powerful.
it is. Yeah, yeah,
Mhm. So
that,
that is something definitely I also integrate with my clients.
yeah,
So, with every case, of course, every case is different, but I do make sure somehow journaling comes in it and
yeah,
becomes comfortable with the client when they see the transformation happening already from the first time when they get going. So not when they write the first time, but when they, get in the routine of it, then
true.
they realize it. Wow.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, I think journaling has been part of my life ever since I was 13, and uh, that's something that really helps. I still have the older ones where I go back and see, and I'm like,
Wow.
God, like this is me 10 years ago, and
That is so precious, Shambhavi, because I used to do journaling when I was small as well, or small, but when you know how to write and all that. And I did that all the way till my university years.
wow.
And but I
Hmm.
lost them because I used to write in metaphors. I still write in metaphors, and
Yeah, yeah, I see you use it also. No.
yeah. So it somehow resonate with me better, and the family I come from, or the culture, or whatever behind it, I'm not really inclined with the same, but they were not really understanding the metaphors, so they thought, what is she writing? What is going on here? And so yeah, so I stopped writing from that time. They didn't like me writing and all that, and I never did journaling ever again. I only started last year, and it was very rough for me to start, but I had some kind of like very much energy pull that you need to do that. And I went out and I bought these beautiful, beautiful bling bling books, but I never started. And last year I picked up the pencil and I started writing, and I just felt like that girl at that time. And I was like, this is what you were missing, you
Oh,
know?
amazing. I mean, kudos to you to have found that little girl in you and to go back to it. It's so amazing. Uh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I got goosebumps when you said I have the one from, when I was 13, and I was thinking, oh yeah, I remember I had these big long books and I would sit and write, and yeah, and I used to write in Urdu. So I would not write in English.
mm,
And my thing was that one day I will publish that.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, so I think that's also one of the reason I was writing in metaphor, because I wanted to publish that one day. And it was
Mm.
all about life. So but of course that was maybe not my path, that was not my journey, and that's why, it somehow got away, maybe through my parents, but maybe that was the universe showing me, hey, this is not your path.
Yeah.
And great for that. I learned and I also understood certain things, and now I'm back to it, but not as I'm gonna write a book.
I think really appreciating you and your inner child to kind of like see it as a journey and it ended it there, probably more like a karmic contract where it ended,
Yeah.
moved on from there. To, I really appreciate you to have taken all those learnings and bring it to this day and say, "Oh, I'll use it for my own inner personal journey." So that's really nice. That's
In so many whys.
mm,
And I am a true believer, why does not mean anything.
mm,
Because who can reply to your why? Get the learning out of it. That is the most important thing. If you are, whatever age you are in, every single thing is happening for you to understand it, to choose what is working, what is not working, and to have your lesson learned. So when you're moving on, you are much more capable, you're much more aware,
yeah,
and you're able to understand that journey from the learning you got. Because if you're not, you will have that situation happening again and again and again.
yeah.
So that is extremely important. And this is something I learned already as a very young age. I really feel that has helped me to build the personality that I have today,
Mm,
you know, because I had that mindset and that awareness from very young age,
mm,
and worked on it.
yeah.
And of course, doing all these courses, and then of course with you, and you are just getting more and more structured with that, crisp with that, understanding it even more in depth.
Yeah, yeah. And such a profound way of putting it out there, saying, it could be any feeling that you're feeling, but it's also about how you choose to deal with it, makes the most. And I think that's where training helps, because then you know how to deal with it, or you know what to probably do or ask for help.
Yeah.
Right? So that's really nice and very profound
Mm.
to see that the journey that you've taken in from a very young age, you kind of like knew, and now you're integrating all of this into your coaching, into your programs or the group programs that you're doing, or as part of your own personal journey as a parent or as for yourself. So that's
Like,
beautiful.
how are you working? Like, are you working in group? Are you doing more master classes, or is it one-on-one? Like,
So currently, I'm not certified to do facilitate like group programs, so I'm getting there, because for me, public speaking is something that comes as a conscious choice, and I really want to like do
yeah.
that. And this group kind of like I think gives that energy, so I'm gonna get there soon. But I'm currently just doing one-on-ones in terms of just looking at one-on-one coaching, because
Mhm.
and of course, EFT along with it, because for me, one-on-ones have always been part of it. Even as a psychologist, I was doing a lot of one-on-ones, uh,
Mm.
and having that like very not structured, but at least a customized plan for people makes me feel like I am doing more towards their transformation or helping them through that process.
Mm, yeah, I get that. Yes.
Yeah. So what about you? Like, do you have both group and one-on-ones, and how are you?
Yeah, so I work as lifestyle coach,
Mhm.
and then I specializing in relationships, whether it's with oneself, which will be my best one, the core essence of everything, whether it's with your spouse, children, or even work related.
Mm.
And the biggest one is money. So my
Yes.
approach is very holistic. So I just the integration with mind shift into daily life. So transformation feels natural rather than forced.
Yeah.
And I use a combination, of course, of EFT and pranic healing, spiritual healing, NLP, and other tools to help my clients move from emotional overwhelmed to clarity and confidence. I do offer group programs. I am I'm trying to create another program right now. I'm not really sure when I'm going to come out with this, but I'm working on it. And however, I have my one-on-one programs as well, where I customize it for the client. And then I do community support where we focus on practical and sustainable change rather than quick fixes. And yeah, so I try to do, a little bit of everything, but the core essence is to find yourself and rather than looking outside, looking within for the
Yeah.
answers. Because everything else will work out once you understand that. But it's easier said than done.
Yeah, that's so
That's
clear
true.
that, this is your niche and this is what you want to do and that's what it is. So, oh,
Yeah.
that's really, helpful in terms of saying, okay, this is what I want to do. And getting there was a journey for me, saying, okay, I'll do that. I was like, okay, I'll do this, so I'll do this, so I'll do that. And then I think I kept changing and changing and changing and finally arrived at this. So, yeah,
It is a journey, but
it is. Yeah.
because what we want to do, we want to create the transformation. And you're so passionate about it that everything we want to create, oh, you're doing this. No, 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 let me help you.
Yeah.
Until you realize that's not what is. Of course, you can help in every aspect. But
Yeah.
you will have to focus as well, because if you're not focusing, then the quality also goes away.
Mm.
Um, and at the same time, it's also a burden on you because
Yeah. Yeah, as a practitioner, definitely.
it
Yeah.
is, because you're taking everything in, and it becomes too much of a responsibility, of making sure that the client has what they want to have or achieve what they want to achieve.
Yeah.
And you wanted to take them from here to maybe Z, but they only want to go to another place. So that's a different path.
True.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think that's very important. And it is a journey. It
Yeah.
is a
Yeah.
journey to understand that.
Yeah. While you were talking, I think something came up for me was, a very common question that a lot of my clients ask me is, what do you do for your own work or your own
Mm.
self-care? So, what do you, and I'm curious to know what.
So I used to do personal peace with EFT. However, it did not resonate with me, and I used to do that as well while we were having our EFT sessions and everything. But it did not resonate with me.
Mm.
What works for me is meditation
Mhm.
and breath work.
Mm.
And this is something that come naturally to me. So I like people usually meditation, when you say that, it's very traditional. Something comes up and you're sitting down, like this, and and you're calming your mind and silence everything. For me, it's very different. So meditation for me is me time. Meditation for me is where I can stand or I can sit, but I can be quiet, and I'm just making sure my mind is quiet, and whatever is coming in, I'm just acknowledging it and
Mm.
making sure whatever comes in to, okay, why is this here now? Or what is that for? So making sure to understand what chatter is going on right now.
Mm.
I'm not a person who will sit for half an hour, 20 minutes. So it can happen anywhere, but breath work is something that I definitely do every single day. I do it before waking up, before getting out of my bed, and I do it before going to bed.
Mm.
And I can do it anywhere during the daytime as well if I feel the needs for it. So I
Yeah.
just try to be one with my body and try to understand what is the need for the body right now,
Mm.
then I go ahead. But these are the two things that I definitely do. And it
Oh.
has helped me tremendously. Also, journaling.
Yeah.
And this is the reason, actually, Shambhavi, where I came to understand what
Mm.
niche, if we call it a niche, like what I wanted to work on.
Yeah.
Before that, it was huge journey.
Yeah.
And everything was surrounding the same topic, but I was not able to pinpoint it or until I did these things. So it's powerful. It's
Yeah.
powerful.
That's
What
lovely.
about you?
So for me, I think on a daily basis, I take some time out and do it because for me, I connect a lot with energy. Uh,
Mm.
and I probably kind of like sometimes take on the energy as well. So um, it's very important for me to wake up and do like a 30 minutes of whatever is coming to my mind that day. It could be journaling or EFT or anything. I don't have a fixed thing. I also do a lot of intuitive painting because for me that kind of like helps me to connect with colors. So I do that a lot. And I think last year you could see some of my works behind
Yeah,
me.
I did. Actually, yeah. I didn't know it was your work though.
It was
Yeah.
So I do that very intuitively, and then I sometimes tap or do other things. What has really helped me is to go out in nature and
Mm.
just sit because it's easy. Connecting with nature has something that I've always wanted to do. And, being in a city while growing up didn't give me a lot of time with it. So every time we would go away, I would be like, let's not go anywhere. I just want to sit in, no, like leave, like get ready and leave. So now I have the time to do it, and it's so beautiful here. So I just sit down and do it. And that's been really helpful in terms of introspection. Also, cooking. I think
Yes.
it, and I'm like, then it's a lot of times my husband like, why do you take 1.5 hours to make something? I'm like, I don't want to rush things, like because this is my time. So that's been an
That
amazing.
is so true. My husband cooks as well, and he loves cooking. And he goes like he can cook the same dishes.
Mm.
And we never make just one dish. So,
Yeah.
and he will create the same thing within the half an hour. I can spend the whole day, but I don't spend the whole day because it's taking me time. I am doing things slowly. It's like dancing, and
Yeah.
it's therapeutic.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how I take even my cooking and even my cleaning.
Yeah.
That's like for me, like, yeah, I'm just leave me alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
That, I'm just doing my cleaning, I'm just doing my cooking, and
True.
just enjoying every single step while they're like, what
Yeah,
is this?
yeah, yeah. Same. I mean, it's the same thing that happens here. I also dance and listen to music. I can't sing, but
Yeah.
dancing is something that it's more to release. Like if I've had a very hard day, then I release.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, definitely. Dancing is one thing. I think I've been into it since I was small.
Yeah. Me too.
And it's just a way of expression.
Mm.
And I love it. And now, of course, I have a daughter. She's 8. So right now it's this song, what's this called? APT, Apata, Apata, something.
Okay.
Um, so
Oh, yes. Oh,
yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Everybody is
So
doing it.
lyrics matter so much, and music just, it is amazing. I think it's great that you do that
Yeah.
and recognize it that when you need it, your body needs it, that you do it because just to stand up and dance.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's been a journey. I stopped dancing for a long time, and then I picked it up recently, like last year. Like how I'm like, okay, I need to like go back to it because
Yeah.
the child in me loves it, and I've always wanted to dance and always want to train. Now I don't train, but I just dance with whatever I know. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's beautiful. Okay. So how are you feeling about it? Because it's our first.
I think it is. So it was very nice and flowy, and I loved it. I
Yeah.
did not think I would love it. I was like, oh my God, what's gonna happen?
Yeah,
You're
me
going for
too.
this. Yeah.
True.
How
I
did
think
you
I
like
think
it?
for me, today when we had those technical issues, I'm like, Oh my God, like initially I don't want this to happen, and I came with that angst because it happened from my side, and then now I'm more like, wow, like this is something I can do day in and day out.
Yeah.
I really loved it. Like I think this is amazing, and I would really like to see how it goes in the future.
Let us
Yeah, so on that note, we'll say bye to our audience.
know
And
if there's any certain topics you would like us to speak about, or, yeah, anything, let us know in the comments, and we will try our best to accommodate that.
absolutely, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna stop the recording. So bye bye,
Bye bye.
everybody.